Well, I mean, mobile is becoming more important for us. We've built our business in terms of securing people when they're using the internet, both for consumers and for small businesses and for enterprises. And really what we're now doing is obviously we're spending more and more of our time and focus is going into mobile. And how do we keep customers secure when they're using, this generation of new smart devices, be they smartphones or tablets. So really what we're using Mobile World Congress to do is to continue to educate people about what are the tools and the techniques that they should really use to secure themselves when they're basically using these new smart devices.
How different is a business client from an end user client from your perspective?
They are different, but they are quite similar as well. And it's kind of interesting in this marketplace that there is maybe a little more commonality than you maybe would think about. One of the big hot topics is obviously about what happens if I lose my phone or my tablet. So if you're a business customer, an enterprise, obviously what you want to do is you want to find that device, you want to wipe it, you want to make it safe because it may have important information about your business and on the device. And it's kind of the same for the consumer because, if you lose your smartphone, you want to manage that situation and maybe you don't want your personal information that might be on the device, like your contacts or your photographs, to fall into the wrong hands. So some of the techniques that we use in enterprise, we just use the same sorts of techniques for the consumer. So there is a commonality, different approaches, different levels of security we might do. Obviously in the enterprise, obviously a little more complete. But I said similarities between consumer and enterprise.
How different are your services for the smartphones and the tablets?
They really are the same. We kind of look at the device as just a smart device. Really where the differences would be more about the user interface and the user experience. Obviously, you can design the software for the tablet. It's got a bigger screen. So from a user interface point of view, we do some changes there. But in terms of the device themselves, it's basically the same functionality. We just see them as smart devices.
How much of your business is having now the mobility?
It's increasing. Obviously still a lot of our focus and attention is on the desktop platforms, but our business is obviously moving with the market, and as more and more customers are using smartphones and tablets, they're using a lot more of our solutions for those platforms. So we're kind of getting a balance coming into our business between, the solutions we have for the desktop and then for the mobile devices. So, we're in a process of, transitioning over.
How do you see this year? I mean, the antivirus are growing and growing, but also the malware are growing and growing.
Yes, I mean, we can see the trend that, the attackers, they follow the industry trends and they go where the consumer or the enterprise is going. And obviously, they can see that if they want to attack me as Con Mallon, as a consumer, or me as Con Mallon from Symantec, they recognize that I'm spending more of my day on smart devices. And therefore they're having to change their methods and change their attack to try and get after me, irrespective of what device we're on. So therefore, from our point of view, what we're really saying is, look, we're saying to our customers, consumer and enterprise, look, from Symantec's point of view, we can protect you. And we've got products and services that span PC, Mac, Android, iOS. Doesn't really matter. What the customer wants is the assurance that when they're using those devices, they're protected. And that's really what we're now kind of focused on delivering to the marketplace.
Could you summarize what you are exhibiting here?
Well, what we have here is a wide selection of products, and we've obviously got some products that are focused on, our enterprise products in terms of mobile device management and mobile application management and mobile security for enterprises. We have some solutions over there about identity management, so the ability for you to securely log in and out and identify yourself onto the network system. And also, again, some new approaches about how we can help you, not always have to remember passwords. So we've got some identity management software that we're demonstrating there. And then we have some solutions for the consumer. So mobile security for the consumer marketplace, and also some software for Norton Family. Because one of the things we see happening is, obviously, as these smart devices are going into the home, is that children and kids are using tablets and smartphones, and you kind of have, mum and dad as being the chief information officer for the home. So coming back to what we were talking about earlier, there's very similarities between the home and the enterprise. We're kind of showing that over there as well, how you can basically manage all the devices that make their way into your home. So we kind of get a rich selection of services and solutions that we're demonstrating on the stand.
And in the end, could you please classify the top 3 keywords for your company this year?
Top 3 words for our company for this year is really about protecting customers, irrespective of where where they find themselves. We've got to protect them as when they're at home, when they're at work, and when they're at play. We have to protect them irrespective of the platform they're on, as I said, and help them as they move on to the new smartphone platforms. We basically want to keep them protected. And the other thing from our point of view is that we want to obviously, continue to lead this marketplace. A lot of people know Symantec as the leader in security, and what we're showing is that we are continuing to invest in our business, invest in our technology, invest in our solutions, so that people who buy our products and services can have the assurance that they're buying great solutions that's going to keep them protected. So we're plenty busy this year in terms of what we have to do. So I think the 3 things we have to do this year, we're kind of focused on, security, and then we're also then going to into protection, doing more for our customers. And then at the end of the day is then about management. How can we basically manage the whole security profile for a customer, be the consumer or enterprise, across all of their devices, PCs and mobile devices. So that's really what we're focused on for this year.
Do you intend to replicate the Doctor PC service, yes, also for the smartphones?
Yeah, I mean, what we want to do is we want to provide the right level of security and protection for the device. So it's not necessarily a question of copying over everything that we did for the PC for the Android devices or the iOS devices. Those devices are quite peculiar and different in their own right, and therefore we have to provide the appropriate and the right layers of protection for each of those platforms. And so there might be differences across each of those products, but the core job of security protection is the same irrespective of the platform.
How you define your strategy in working with the mobile operators?
Well, we see the operators as being very, very important to us. I mean, our business is very much about working with partners to get the Symantec solutions into the hands of consumers and enterprise customers. And we certainly recognize that the mobile operators are a key player in this brave new world of mobile. So therefore, for this year going forward, what you'll see is as we bring out these new services, we're also bringing out new ways that we're enabling our partners to take our products to the market as well. So we have to kind of do 2 things at the same time. We need to invest in our core products, and we also need to invest in how we can help our partners get those products into the hands of customers. And we see that as equally as important in terms of what we're going to be doing this year.
What are the main pillars in your ecosystem?
In terms of our ecosystem, obviously we have to have a very good product, and we are, as I said, we're the leaders in security and protection. We have a great brand name, and we definitely see that as being very important. I think a lot of customers recognize the Symantec brand as something that they have a lot of trust in. The next area is then about, we recognize our partners, and we have multiple partners who help us get to market. There are the mobile carriers, there are the device manufacturers, there are retailers, there are e-tailers out there. And really what we try to do is obviously try and make sure that Symantec products and services can flow through to customers in any way that the customer wants to buy the product. And therefore, that we put a lot of time and effort into making sure that we can go to market via our partners.